And yes, I don't blame the fans for missing Andrew McCutchen. I don't blame the fans for missing Garrett Cole. But Josh Bell can be the guy, especially if he can lead this team to the playoffs, to be the guy that puts a lid on it. All the, sour fans who have, just justifiably, I would say, be sour since 2017, right, when we traded them in the offseason. We can finally move past that, into that, usher in that next era, and really bring the fans back, because the fans haven't been back since 17 when Kutch and Cole were still in uniform. One of the worst attendances in all of baseball in 2018, and that same theme rings true so far in 2019. Hopefully it's going to get better in the second half as we are legitimate postseason contenders. And I believe it will be starting with the Phillies this coming weekend when we celebrate the 1979 World Series championship team. But Josh Bell, he can be the guy that helps us as a city, as a fan base, move on. I've already moved on myself. You all know that if you've listened to this podcast for any length of time or followed my Instagram account for any length of time. I've moved on. I'm not still sour about losing Kutch because we got Kyle Crick and Byron Reynolds. Not sour about losing Cole because we got Joe Musgrove, Michael Feliz, Colin Moran, Jason Martin. I'm not sour in any way, shape, or form about that. I've moved on. But a large percentage of this fan base and a huge part of this fan base that showed up between 2013 and 2015 in our 3 consecutive postseason seasons. They loved Andrew McCutchen. They loved Garrett Cole. And to the casual fans that came to a handful of games and really paid attention to those games and paid attention to the playoffs, Andrew McCutchen was their guy. Garrett Cole was their guy. And since they were traded and since this team hasn't made the playoffs in a 3-season span, there hasn't been that guy to attach to. But Josh Bell is starting to become that guy for this fan base to attach to, for this fan base to say, hey, you're our guy. And especially if he can make the playoffs and have a big postseason, and especially if he can lead this team to the promised land, to the land we haven't even been to since 1979, to the land we haven't even been a series away from since 1992. If he can get us to that point again and bring this fan base meaningful baseball back in Pittsburgh in October, back at PNC Park with blackout crowds, I'm telling you, this fan base is going to be back, and their guy is going to be Josh Bell. And if he can do that, if he can usher this team back to the postseason, as I said, it's not impossible. In fact, I'd say it's rather likely. If it can happen, and when it does happen, Josh Bell is going to be bigger in Pittsburgh than Andrew McCutchen ever was. Especially if Josh Bell can help this Pittsburgh Pirates team win the 2019 World Series. Just want to make a mention as well, Chris Archer looked fantastic yesterday, and some of the tweaks he did as well. And I just want to say, if Archer can stay hot in the second half and also be a huge part in winning that World Series, people will forget about the trade, right? And winning cures everything. Josh Bell will be bigger than Andrew McCutchen ever could have dreamt of being in Pittsburgh if he can help us win this World Series. There's a lot of ifs and a lot of season remaining with 72 games to go. A lot can happen, but I'm firm in my belief that this is going to happen, and it's rather likely that it will happen. I'm very excited for the remaining 72 games, 45 of which are against 500 or below teams. Since joining the Pittsburgh Pirates, Chris Stratton has been a pleasant surprise out of the bullpen. There was a time when reliever Chris Stratton was one of the best, if not the best, pitching prospect in the San Francisco Giants minor league system. After 3 inconsistent seasons with the Giants, Stratton was traded to the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim in March of this year. On May 7th, the Angels designated Stratton for assignment after he struggled to the tune of a 8.59 ERA, 6.20 FIP, 1.84 home runs per 9, a 12.5% walk rate, and 15.3% strikeout rate in 29 1/3 innings pitched On May 11th, the Pirates swung a trade with the Angels after claiming him off waivers. Since joining the team quietly, Stratton has been one of the team's best relievers. Stratton has logged 17 and third innings since joining the Pirates. He has posted a 3.12 ERA, 3.32 FIP, just 2 home runs, and a 15-2 strikeout to walk ratio, 21.7% strikeout rate, 2.9% walk rate since joining the club. Most of the damage done against Stratton came in one inning, in the 8th inning of a blowout loss against the Arizona Diamondbacks on May 15th. His second outing as a Pirate, Stratton took the hill in the 8th inning after having already pitched 3 innings. Stratton looked gassed, but was just trying out the Pirates to the end of a blowout loss while saving the bullpen. In the bottom of the 8th inning that day, Stratton allowed 4 of the 6 runs he surrendered as a Pirate and both home runs. Outside of this one inning, Stratton has been fantastic with Pittsburgh. A big reason for Stratton's success has been the spin rate on his pitches. According to Baseball Savant, the spin rate on his fastball this season is in the 91st percentile. His curveball spin rate has been even better, falling in the 99th percentile. These 2 pitches have turned Stratton into a strong bullpen option for the Pirates. He also brings value to the Pirate pen because he can pitch multiple inning outings in addition to your traditional 1-inning outings. Since joining the Pirates, Stratton's ERA has dropped to 6.56 and his FIP to 5.13. If he continues to pitch the way he has, these numbers will continue to trend in the right direction. He will also continue to be a strong bullpen option for the Pirates. When the Pirates traded for Chris Stratton, I was unbelievably excited because I knew what he could do. And outside of that bad 8th inning against the Diamondbacks on May 15th, Chris Stratton has been outstanding. Outstanding. 4 of the 6 runs he surrendered are in that one outing. So he's only started, you take that away, 2 runs in 16 and a third innings, if you take away that 1 inning in Arizona. And no home runs. I mean, he's been fantastic. And again, that spin rate is a huge part of it. 91st percentile in his fastball. Fantastic. But then 99th percentile. He's in the top 1% of all curveballs in all of baseball. That's what Chris Stratton is providing. And he's not your traditional 1-inning guy to the bullpen, but he can provide length out of that pen as well. He's going to play a big part in this bullpen down the stretch, and I would not be surprised if he starts getting, slotted into more of those high leverage situations because he has been nothing but fantastic for this Pittsburgh Pirates team. And the trade again is starting to look like a steal. I don't even know what we gave the Angels in return. But again, Neil Huntington and the scouts locate guys, they find guys, and they bring them in. And again, that just goes and it plays a huge role into why this decade, a decade that has seen the most success in Pittsburgh since the 70s. Since the 70s. Okay, it has been wildly successful baseball in Pittsburgh. And a lot of that goes to Neil Huntington and his scouts in locating low-risk, high-reward guys. And Chris Stratton sort of epitomizes that, okay? He's not a starter, and the Pirates usually go down that route with starters. But it's worked. It's worked with Chris Stratton. In his 16 and a third innings where he's only given up 2 runs, no home runs, has been fantastic. 91st percentile in fastball, 99th in his curveball. That's crazy. And I don't care about his ERA. I don't care about his past with the Angels and his overall season ERA being 6.56. I care that his Pirates ERA, what has he done in Pittsburgh? And that's a 3.12 ERA, 3.32 FIP, 2 home runs, and that came in that one outing. 15-2 strikeout to walk ratio, 21.7% strikeout rate, 2.9% walk rate. Chris Stratton has been absolutely fantastic. Done, and it's super under the radar too. Like, nobody is really talking about this, and that's why I wanted to bring this to light. How well Chris Stratton has pitched for your Pittsburgh Pirates in 2019. It's been fantastic, and it's been a joy to watch. He's pitched in those 9 games, giving up 18 hits, 6 runs, 2 walks, 15 strikeouts. He's been fantastic. If we look at his FIP, where he ranks on the season in FIP for the team, he is right there with the leaders. The only people with lower FIPS are Mitch Keller, Felipe Vasquez, and Nick Birdie. He's been fantastic. The guys around him, he's comparable to Joe Musgrove, Michael Feliz. Again, he has provided exactly what the Pirates need him to provide. He has done it, and he has exceeded really all expectations that we could have ever hoped for when Chris Stratton came to Pittsburgh. His swing and miss percentage is not ideal with his current swing and miss percentage sitting at 12.4%, but that's, again, the only guys higher than him are Chris Archer, Felipe Vasquez, Montana Rappel, Francisco Liriano, and Nick Birdie. In terms of what he's done, he's induced 71.2% weak contact. That is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. His batting average against is .269, so that's great as well. And again, I love that 71.2% weak contact rate. So even when they're putting the ball in play, it's weak contact. They're not pounding the ball off of him. And I've just been absolutely loving what I've been seeing from Chris Stratton in 2019 for the Pirates. All right, let's take a look at what the rest of the week is shaping up for and what we can expect moving forward here. So we got Jordan Lyles going on the hill today against the Cubs. Again, it's going to be a big start for Lyles. An opportunity to even up the series, get a game under 500, 2.5 back in the division, and then go for with Trevor Williams tomorrow. Get back to 500, win the series, be a game and a half back in the division, see where we are in the wild card spot. Could be within a half game by that point. And then move into St. Louis for the week when we got Joe Musgrove slated to go on Monday to be determined for the Cardinals. And then we play them through Wednesday. I would assume the rest of that week would shape up to be. So we had Archer, Lyles, Williams, Musgrove. Would assume we get Archer and Lyles for the remaining 2 games. My bad. Agrizal's going to pitch probably Tuesday, Archer on Wednesday. So, again, these teams are decent teams. They are decent teams, right? But we can beat the Cardinals. And again, the Cardinals are a sub-500 baseball team. And that is what the Cardinals are. So we have been fantastic against those teams. We can definitely win that series. I do not want us to get swept this weekend. We cannot get swept this weekend. Okay, it'd be fantastic if we can win this game today and win the series. But the mission for this weekend is do not get swept. Do not get swept. Because then we have the Cardinals, who we can definitely win that series, and then the Phillies, which will be a tough series, but it is at home, and it should be some fun crowds with the team celebrating the 1979 World Series. So that's what we've got the remainder of the week. We got the Cubs for 2 more, the Cardinals for 3, off day Thursday, and a big weekend series against the Philadelphia Phillies in the cross-state rivalry. So a lot of fun baseball, and again, this is doable in the second half of the season. 45 of our 72 games are against those 500 or below teams. We can do this. It's now up to Clint Hurdle to go out there, manage this team properly, and take advantage of the weak schedule. We have the potent lineup. We're starting to get healthy. Let's run it back to the second half. Yesterday was a tough loss, but there's still 72 games remaining. 2.5 games back to the wild card spot, 3.5 games back to the division. We can win this division in 2019. Mark my words. We're doing it all this year. It can happen. Let's get it. That's been our episode of Bucko Booth for this week. Again, I will not be here. Really sorry about that next week. Again, I'm going to Steubenville for a youth conference. Again, apologize for that, but I'll be back here on July the 27th, so maybe we'll have some trade deadline moves. Hopefully by that time, our Pirates will be in first place in the division. At least get us back to 500 by then. That would be very nice. This is the Baseball Podcast Network's Pittsburgh Pirates podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. My name is Benson Fector. No matter how you're doing it, where you're doing it from, live, archived, we certainly do appreciate it. Give me a follow on Instagram if you can, at Bucs Dugout. Remember, we always have our DMs up in there. If you have any questions throughout the week regarding the Pirates, I'll be glad to answer them. As always, let's go Bucs and have a safe week. God bless everybody.